Hi guys, you're welcome back to another lesson right here on LearnAkan.com. So in English, if I say the young man, okay, the young man, I'm being specific, right? So I'm encoding within the message that my addressee knows the young man that I'm talking about, right? So that if I tell you, so if I walk up to you and I just start saying something and I say the young man maybe came here, for example, if you don't know the young man that I'm talking about, you would immediately ask, whom am I talking about, right? So this "the" is used to mark definiteness, okay, to make it definite, more specific, right? So you can contrast this with if I just say a young man, for example. A young man can be just anybody. I'm not being specific here, right? It can be just anybody, and I probably just don't want you to know which young man I'm talking about, or it's not important for what I want to say to you, right? Or in English, you also have an, right? An, which you use with, a noun that starts with a vowel, for example. So I can say an orange, for instance. And again, I'm not being specific here. So if I wanted to be specific, I would replace the "an" here with "the," and then I have the orange, right? And then it is presumed that my addressee knows the orange, the particular orange that I'm talking about here. So in English, we use "the" to mark definiteness, and then we use "a" or "an" to mark indefiniteness, right? And in today's lesson, I want us to look at how we mark this kind of definiteness and indefiniteness in Chi. Let's start right after this. So let's start with the definite article in Chi. So the definite article in Chi is no. No, and please note the tone with which I say this. It's on the higher side, it's not low. So I'm saying no. No, not no. Okay, not no. So we have no. No, and that is our definite article. Now, one key thing that you should know about our articles generally has to do with their arrangements within a structure, okay? So what you have in English, your arrangement that you have in English, you say the article first, and then you say the noun or whatever it is that the article is modifying, right? So you would say the young man. Now, if you come to Chi, it's the opposite. So generally, our articles come right after whatever it is that they are modifying, unlike what you have in English. Okay, so in English, when you say the young man, what we have in Chi would translate to English word for word as young man the. Okay, so let's look at what young man is in Chi. That is what? Abrantie, okay, abrantie. So to say the young man, we would say abrantie no. Abrantie no, okay? So you don't bring the article before what it is that it's modifying, okay? You bring it after. And if we put this in a sentence, we can say, for example, abrantie no yare. Abrantie no yare. Abrantie no yare. Let's look at some other examples. So let's say the young woman, okay? How do you say young woman in Chi? Ababawa, okay? Ababawa. So the young woman becomes ababawa no. Ababawa no. Again, if we put this in a sentence, we can say, for example, ababawa no ferry. Ababawa no ferry. Ababawa no ferry. Okay, let's do another one. So this time around, let's use the journalist, all right? And a journalist in Chi is insentreni, right? Insentreni. So the journalist becomes insentreni no. Insentreni no, right? And again, if we put this in a sentence, we can say insentreni no eni aje. nsɛnkyerɛnni no ani agye. Nsɛnkyerɛnni no ani agye. To the next one, we are using the farmer, right? The farmer. And a farmer in Chi is okiani. Okay? Okiani. So to say the farmer, we will say okiani no. Okiani no. Okiani no. Right? And if we put this in a sentence, we can say okiani no buafu. Okiani no buafu. Okiani no buafu. Okay? To the next one, we are using the teacher. Okay? The teacher. And a teacher in Chi is ochirechireni, right? Ochirechireni. So the teacher becomes ochirechireni no. Ochirechireni no. Ochirechireni no. And if we put this in a sentence, we can say ochirechireni no enimte. Ochirechireni no enimte. Ochirechireni no enimte. Let's add one more example here before we move on to the indefiniteness. So let's do the tree, okay? The tree. And a tree in Chi is dia. Dia, okay? So the tree becomes diano. Diano. Now we can put this in an example sentence such as diano ebu. Diano ebu. Diano ebu. Let's move on to the indefiniteness. And the first thing that you should note here is that we don't have a distinction between the A and the AN that you have in English. Okay, so for us, whatever is being made indefinite starts with a consonant or a vowel, it doesn't matter. We mark the indefiniteness in the same way. Okay, so how do we do that? At the very bare minimum, and I'll get to why I'm using the bare minimum here. But what I'm saying is, at the very bare minimum, we just use the bare noun to mark our indefiniteness. Okay? So, whereas previously we attached the definite article no to achieve the definiteness, if we take out, that no and just use the bare noun, we have actually marked that noun as indefinite. That's the bare minimum. Let's put that in some examples and I'm sure you get it. So previously we said abrantie no is the young man, right? Now, if I take the no and just say abrantie, that's a young man. Do you get it? Right. So once I use the noun in its bare form with no article, I have actually marked it as indefinite. Okay, so I can say, for example, meye abrantie, meye abrantie, meye abrantie. So you see, abrantie on its own becomes a young man. Let's do another example. So let's use a young woman. Okay, a young woman. So the young woman was ababawa no. Now, if we just say ababawa, we have a young woman. Okay, so I can say, for example, Kofi ware ababawa. Kofi ware ababawa. Okay, if I had added no, I would have Kofi married the young woman, right? But without the article, I have Kofi married a young woman. Okay, to the next one, let's use a cap. Okay, a cap, and we have krua. Krua, okay? So krua is the bare noun, right? So with no article, and we have it as a cap. Now, if we use this in an example sentence, we can say krua woha, okay? Krua woha. Krua woha. Let's do one last example. So let's use a spoon, okay? A spoon, and a spoon in Chi is atre, okay? Atre. So in an example sentence, we can say atre she mi botum. It's not true. Atre she mi botum. Atre she mi botum. Okay? So if we had put no after atre, we would have the spoon, right? But without it, we have a spoon is in my pocket. Okay, now let's go to why I said at the very bare minimum for the previous one. I use that because we do have an indefinite article that translates to English basically as a, okay, or an as you have it, but there's a bit more to it than just a regular a or an as you have in English. And I see that a lot of learners, confuse that. That is why I've separated the two. Now, we have the indefinite article be, okay, be, which also comes after what is being modified, okay? So don't put it before, like I said. And while in basic translation, we will translate this as a or an, depending on, the first letter of what is being modified in English, okay? There's a nuance to this when it comes to its meaning. Okay, so this is not just your regular a or an, okay? This has a bit more to it in terms of meaning. And I see a lot of people confuse this, with your regular a and an that you have in English. But a Chi speaker would know that it's not the same, even though when we translate it, basically, we translate it as a or an. Okay, so the meaning bit that is almost always lost in translation here is particular, right? Particular or specific or certain, all right? So while in basic translation, we just translate this as a or an, deep down, we know that this is not just your regular a or an, it's actually a particular or a specific or a certain something, okay? Let's make this clear. So earlier we said the young man is abranteɛ no, right? And then we said a young man is just abranteɛ, okay? Bare now, abranteɛ, okay? Now, instead of just abranteɛ, if we had added be to it, we will get abranteɛ be. And while in basic translation, we'll translate this as a young man, no, there's a bit more to it in terms of the meaning. This would actually mean a particular young man, a specific young man. Okay? So while, yes, this is indefinite because my addressee doesn't really know the young man that I'm talking about here, but I know the specific young man that I'm referring to. I as the speaker. Okay, so yes, be is translated as basically as a or an, but you should know that it has a bit more to it in terms of meaning. Okay, let's use another example. Let's use a woman, all right, a woman. And a woman in Chi is oba, all right, oba. If we wanted to make this definite, as in the woman, we'll have obano, okay, obano. But if we just want to say a woman, it's just oba, the bare now, okay? Now, if we attach be and we have oba be, we are actually saying a particular woman, a specific woman, okay? A certain woman. So I, as the speaker, knows the exact woman that I'm talking about. It may not be known by the addressee here, but I, as the speaker, knows exactly whom I'm talking about. Okay? So I can put this in an example sentence. I can say, Obebi baha, for example. Obebi baha. Okay? Obebi baha. To another example, we have Obeifono mame kuku bi. Obeifono mame kuku bi. Obeifono mame kuku bi. Obeifono mame kuku bi. So as you can see, obeifo goes with no, the witch, right? And then kukuo goes with be, a pot. All right, so obeifo mame kukuo bi. Let's do one more example. So we have osofo no ne konfuo bi to nchia. Osofo no ne konfuo bi to nchia. Osofo no ne konfuo bi to nchia. So again, we have osofo going with no, okay, the pastor, and then we have konfuo going with bi, a fetish priest. Okay, osofo no ne konfuo bi to nchia. Right, so this is where we end today's lesson. To ensure that what we've learned sticks, I would advise that you get yourself some nouns. All right, if you don't have any, you can visit mytreedictionary.com, get yourself some nouns and try to attach the articles as we've learned in today's lesson so that you don't forget. Okay, right, thank you guys very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so before you leave. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you next time. It's bye for now.